C. Is it gonna come home, Bretson? Because we got England, Serbia, Denmark, and Slovenia. Underrated national team that I'm sure we're gonna be talking about. Benjamin Sesko, that is an underrated player that we gotta be aware in this tournament. How are we feeling, Bretson, with England?
Well, I got to say the talent in Group C when it comes to the striker position is fearsome.
True.
Whether or not they can all put it together for their national teams, that's a different story. Because if you look at Vlahovic and Mitrovic on paper, and you're like, oh my gosh, this should be one of the best striker duos in the whole competition. And then you look at what, Vlahovic has done for the team, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's just a whole lot better for Juve. But England has Harry Kane. Mm-hmm. Denmark has Højlund. Slovenia has Sesko. So I can't look past England on this. I know everybody is up in arms. Iceland beating them for the first time at Wembley. Gareth Southgate, once again, the mythical stealing that has been kind of hit on it. I feel that exact same thing, except maybe not to the extent that that Twitter is perceived. I don't know why I just said Twitter like that. That was weird. But why they're perceiving it like that. But the sky is falling in England, and I sort of can understand why, because that Iceland game was not pretty. But to vilify anyone like a Kabi Mainu in that game, to vilify anyone like an Anthony Gordon, these are the games that you need. You get out of your system. And let me tell you, 1-0 or 2-1, whatever it was, Iceland over England, 2-1. Right? That was no 5-1 drubbing at the hands of Colombia, okay? And I think this will make England a better team. But I also don't think England has the defense. I'm saying it right now. I don't think England has the defense to win this tournament.
You would have called up Jared Barfoot.
I would have, yeah. I mean, I don't know why all these young guys are getting snubbed. They would have all broken out. Branthwaite would have been the perfect type of chip on your shoulder player in this than, say, a Lewis Dunk. Although you still have him, or even a Mark Gahey.
I'd pick him ahead of Gahey. I agree, and ahead of Mark Gahey too. So yes, starting with England. Look, Harry Kane is the European. Harry Kane is the European Golden Boot. Minimal expectations that we have for Harry Kane in this tournament is for him to be a top 3 player in year 2024, consequently to be the golden boot of this competition. England have the best player in the Premier League awarded, Phil Foden, the best player in La Liga, Jude Bellingham, and one of the best players in the Bundesliga. Not the best because Florian Wirtz exists. So Harry Kane, win this trophy. Prove that in a trophyless season, you are a world-class player with trophies, and England must finish first in Group C. Must be the case with Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, and if not, Southgate should not remain England manager. We all see that the best Phil Foden will not be with Gareth Southgate, so he has to show other capacities, other things. Other things is winning Euro 2024, even though he doesn't take the best out of a Bellingham and a Foden and a Cole Palmer. And side notes, James Maddison, you're hating on not being called up? Look at the number 10 position of England. Cole, Foden, or Bellingham can play at number 10. Considering how James Maddison played in the second half of the season, it's a disgrace. Disgrace that a Southgate cannot explain in a reasonable way, or he isn't happy of not being called up. Realistic expectations. Jadon Sancho deserves more to be in this national team and Braithwaite than James Maddison. Ridiculous comments that I saw in social media that he was discontent. Come on, discontent is one thing, but disagreeing with facts? Yeah, facts. If you disagree with me, just put down below in the comment section, okay? I'll talk. But you agree,
he'd have so much more he'd have so much more ammunition if he had obviously a healthy year. There's no doubt there was a period of time with his form in the Premier League that James Maddison would have been kind of a shoo-in into this type of scenario, especially with his ability on set pieces as well. But yeah, you're right. And the depth here, but here, like for me, the issue with the depth in the English attack, and this is kind of like picking whatever. This is not really much of a critique because they have one of the best collection of firepower altogether. But that's what it feels like at times, Alex. It feels like just a collection. It's like we've got a bunch of these guys. But now Gareth Southgate, of all people, has to figure out how to shoehorn them in and make them all work. But when you have Harry Kane, who is definitely going to be part of the Golden Boot conversation, right? When you have Phil Foden, who's a serial winner with Manchester City, but has not yet turned it full bore yet for England. But you also have Bukayo Saka. I mean, you've got a phenomenal starting point. It just kind of comes down to, can Gareth Southgate get that collection to be like, of synergy? And can they all be working together collectively to be the most dangerous team on the attack in the Euros?
Completely.
And that remains to be seen.
Completely. And yes, you mentioned Saka. I want to mention in complete how I think England should play. And obviously Phil Foden. For me, Phil Foden is the most talented player in this English team. I know Jude Bellingham's there. I know Saka, also tremendous world-class talents. But Phil Foden, no joke, is one of the most talented players that I've ever seen for England. What he does technically is not normal to see coming out of England. And he's a part of one of the best English teams ever with Man City. He's won 6 Premier League titles at the age of 23. Southgate must be taking the best out of Phil Foden if he's going to win European competitions. So Phil Foden, it's going to be Harry Kane up forward with Phil Foden at the left, with Jude, with on the right Saka. So we got the certainty that Jude will be or the 8 or the 10, and we got the certainty that Phil Foden will be at the left wing. So which I don't see Anthony Gordon starting, in my point of view. So
and I don't think he should. I think he'd be phenomenal for them as a late game, chase the score, get that goal, attack, offense as the best defense type of situation for them. And it's a casual reminder that, Anthony Gordon, these guys are actually still pretty damn young. Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, they have all the pedigree. The pedigree, and Bukayo Saka obviously has seen heartbreak, but he's also seen incredible success with England, but still 22 years old. Yeah. And then you also have behind that Cole Palmer in a new environment. You're going to... Also, a casual reminder that Adam Wharton and Kabi Mainu are still developing players with ridiculously high ceilings. But they are not, the next coming of Rodri just yet, right? So give it time.
Give
it time. Rice.
Declan Rice will play at the 6th role for England. And the big question is, will it be Conor Gallagher? Will it be Kobe Maino? Or will it be Adam Wharton next to him? Conor Gallagher, the most experienced. But I would go with Kobe Maino. With what he's done, I'd go Maino. You'd go Wharton. Interesting. Let us know in the comment section your choice. And Bellingham at 10. Yeah. Like any of them.
I mean,
we can have an argument of them playing. Any of the three.
We could. I think Southgate will go Gallagher, and I actually don't disagree with him early on. First game against Serbia, Gallagher will outrun that Serbian midfield. But that's really what it comes down to.
That I don't know, because Milinkovic-Savic, that will be a tricky player for England to stop. Underrated player in my point of view. It's because he went from Lazio to Saudi.
Yeah, but I am not falling for the Serbian trap this time around. And because I'm not falling for the Serbian trap this time around, where I look at their roster and I say, holy crap, these guys could even be dark horses. Oh my gosh, they've got, some phenomenal players. Obviously, the ability to piece it all together. And then you look at their track record together and you're like, why can't they put this together? And I'm not going to fall for that trap this time, which is why I am going to place them in 3rd. I'm going to place them as a heartbreaking not getting out of their group. And because I did that, Alex, I can virtually guarantee to anyone listening to this that Serbia will finish 2nd and they will get out of the group. Okay? So there you go. Because I've just cursed them, Serbia will get out of the group. Done.
So your predictions for this group is England first with Serbia.
Denmark.
Oh, okay.
Second.
My predictions are England first for group. My predictions for Group C: England first. Harry Kane has to be the Golden Boot. Come on in this group for sure. Second, Denmark. Martin Huilman will be a starter in this Danish team. Underrated player that you guys must be aware. Serbia third. I think they can be one of the third places going through. And Slovenia fourth. but will be very tricky to stop Benjamin Sesko. These teams will have to outscore Benjamin Sesko if he scores a brace. And I think Denmark can make that happen with this resilient, experienced squad. With Schmeichel, with Christensen, with Eriksen, with Højbjerg, Kjaer, So lots of good names.
And let's, not to bring up the bad stuff, but let's remember who will be taking the field again for them. We do remember 3 years ago what happened. With Christian Eriksen, and oh my gosh, that was one of the most heart-stopping, literally, obviously. Watching it was just brutal. Can only imagine living through it. But this Denmark team obviously did not have a great group stage, and they fought their way through. I still think that type of resolve and resiliency exists in them, and you can see it in a lot of these players. And I think they're going to have a good tournament. Do I think they're going to go as far as they did the last time? I don't know. But as we said, these group stages are very forgiving. And if Denmark gets through, they're going to be an incredibly tough next contender or next whatever. So I think quarterfinals potentially for Denmark when it comes down to it. But you mentioned it. The newest name, Morten Hjulmand, is going to be interesting.
It's true. Morten Hjulmand that won the Portuguese league. He upped his value just like Viktor Gyökeres. And Kovacevic now, that's come from Raco to now Sporting. That's another player that we will mention more in future videos with transfers. Very good move. Let us know, do you agree or disagree with our Group C predictions in the comment section.